Gentlemen, now I said my piece, a nice little opener to the ladies, talking about nurturing your narrative, which is going to be the subject in part two, dealing with us. Salute to you guys. Tune in, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. And yeah, I've been away for a minute, but I've been taking care of business as I needed to. And granted, I've been tithing in the iron churches. It's been beneficial to me in so many levels. Again, I tend to forget to post videos, but I'm going to make it my duty to stay on top of business because this summer, actually this year, I'm going to personally make sure that things are really shaking. But enough about that. Let's get into the meat of it. Nurturing your narrative. This is something you got to ask yourself, fellas. Because in this space we call the bandosphere and a myriad of other things, the weenie sphere, the cuckosphere, and rightfully so because of what you've seen this place been reduced to. This isn't the space I initially came into. This place once was a sound repository for information, leadership, direction, but over time, didn't take long, you had a lot of individuals who are fighting tooth and nail to what you're seeing right now. And their illusion or assumption of protecting it. It's possible for men to nurture her narrative or that of someone else's. And this is a conversation myself at DS1, shout out to my brother out there, had over the phone, but I'm going to sit there and sum it up as best I can before I go into it at a later date. A lot of guys, so-called educated lames or whatever affiliation you have now, which tend to be questionable, a lot of that came about because you're doing the same thing that Will Smith did. Trying to protect mama or grandmama or whatever. But let's be honest. A lot of us are guilty of abusing the 4 Ps. A lot of us don't protect ourselves. We go forth and protect her narrative or that of a conflict creators. Not just online, but off. Because you see, when it comes to masculinity, it's about evolution and it's a team sport. Who you surround yourself with, who you allow to be influences in your life, who you invest your time, energy, money, and everything into. They're literally sculpting narratives within you, both good and bad. It's on you as to where your investment truly lies. And we see the result of it. Being a military man, and a lot of my veterans can attest to this. When it started out, the yellow footprints, we were literally psychologically and physically broken down and rebuilt to when everything goes to shit, we can mentally slow everything down and be physically fit and on point to execute effectively. That's what a lot of Marines and other members of the armed forces are able to train to do in their respective ways and professions. But how come you're not able to protect yourself, not just physically, but your reputation, your mental, things that should pertain to you? You got too many dudes who will willingly become bone carriers, water carriers. These internet ball sniffers. And take pride in it. Whatever happened to the problem solving? See, as men, over time, you start learning, wait a minute. Because when you start smelling yourself, you start trying to find out your identity and what's going on. Because that is you getting in tune with your nature. Sometimes you get it a lot earlier. Opposing environment. But see, when you nurture either her narrative or that of a bitch-made individual, you spiritually neuter yourself. You're taught what to think against your better interests. You're taught how to move at the detriment of your appearance and all things pertaining to you. You find honor and esteem in being a fucking crash dummy, rather than being a credible man who stands on the square, not just in peacetime but war. See, this is where the problem solving gets marred. Instead of using critical thinking and having your own mind and holding your own nuts, you reduce yourself to being a fucking groupie, a peon, a derelict, a rugged individual, a shitbird. See, when your actions, words, and intent don't work in concert, you're subject to anything. You're lower than a prostitute. Because at least a prostitute can wash certain things off, and you can do the most depraved shit to her. But you being a man, you're supposed to be better. So when you allow certain narratives to penetrate your mind, other areas stand to be violated. Your wallet, your asshole, your reputation, who you aspire to be evaporates. And people treat you accordingly, and rightfully so. When you nurture someone's narrative or hers, you talk about the procreation part. Why the fuck am I here? Every man, and I say across the board, is their respective artist. They have to find their respective canvas, and throughout their life, create a library, a portfolio of great masterpieces. Everything that you try to lay out, sketch out via your actions and words and intent, not always going to go according to plan. But again, once you stay committed to the mission, you start finding your rhythm, your groove. And you start losing yourself until you get to find the greater parts of yourself. But see, when you nurture her narrative, reducing yourself into the brand of being an educated lame, or getting heavily immersed in these punani politics, running around and doing bitch-made behavior like gossiping, spilling tea, always keeping beef going, doing shit that is unbecoming of men of principle and purpose. You're nurturing either her nature or a shitbird's nature. When do you start providing time for yourself to evolve, to face yourself, to fix yourself, to prepare yourself? So when you nurture someone else's narrative, you start becoming fearful of who you were meant to be. Some people look for individuals who doubt themselves because innately they see something great within you and they want to keep that suppressed. They want to keep you distracted with stupid shit. When again, it's your nature to oppose environment, to get outside your comfort zone. Because when you nurture their narrative, imagine them casually putting you in that coffin and covering you in dirt and burying you alive. How are you able to protect yourself? How are you able to solve your problem when actually you're feeding the problem because you refuse to see things as they are, see individuals who they are? Allowing people to put you in these negative boxes, which I say being a prisoner of perspective. If you don't fit the bill as a peon or any piece of shit to entertain them at your expense, they can't fuck with you. When you should realize that's a blessing in and of itself. You're not going to make everybody happy. Especially when you find yourself and find your groove, you're going to piss a lot of people off. Some of them birthed you. Some of them grew up with you. They'll sit there and try to shame you into silence. They'll try to sabotage you. And some will even try to snuff you out. Those who listen to the sound of my voice have either experienced one or all three of them things. And the fact that you have the fucking audacity to overcome all that and be successful. You got people who will curse your name because you dare to oppose their narrative. Well, you refuse to nurture their narrative. As men, what do you say about yourself? What do you stand for? What are you about? When you look in the mirror, do you see anything worth protecting? Worth refining? Worth protecting the reputation of? Unfortunately, this is why a lot of brothers remove themselves off the board, because when they look in the mirror, some don't see what most should see. Something worth saving. Not just themselves, but able to nurture the gift that was given to them to live the best life humanly possible. But some people are comfortable with a hand up their ass, speaking for them. This is why you see a lot of these dudes who are committed to ashy dick analytics, or they will use talking points to the death of them. Talking points serve a point, but it requires you to get your goofy ass outside and see the world for what it really is. I know people you have beaten the Matrix reference to death, but you gotta unplug from the internet sometimes. Have something going on for yourself. And this is coming from someone who has been diagnosed with clinical depression, who has PTSD, but they're debating that shit. And a myriad other things that I've endured on many stages. But I'm here as a testament. I'm worth fighting for, as you should be. And some people pray to read about you in the obituary. But I'm here to tell you, it's not your fucking time. You leave that to the Most High to decide that. But the time you're given, tap into your true nature. Oppose the environment. And don't nurture their narrative that is unbefitting to you. Abort it. Again, what do you say? Is she in there leading you by the balls? Or are they those goofballs who don't have the fucking nuts to stand on what they're talking about? Are they sending you out there on some dummy missions? And when you get fucked up, embarrassed or worse, where are they? Where are these nutless Napoleons who sent you out there? You look back at them, you're seeing nothing but assholes and elbows. Because truth be told, they're not built to stand on the bullshit they're talking about. Because they lack the level of consistency that's needed to be accountable. Everybody likes to abuse these titles. But you gotta learn how to see things as they are. We as men tend to be more logical, or should be. It's on you to use your foresight and your intuition to vet things out. Certain things sound good, but always double check it. Be around people who challenge you to research things. See for yourself. Because it's supposed to benefit you. If you don't take the information, so be it. The consequences are yours to follow, both good and bad. But when you allow people to make it cool that they allow you to nurture their narrative, that's them putting a battery in your back. Because they've used a toy, a pawn, disposable. You are that human dildo that they're passing around that stinks. Because they don't feel you that you're even worthy of washing. You're just a pass around. That is unbecoming of a man. See, having male genitalia, that's cool, but that doesn't make you a man. It identifies you as a male. But how you carry yourself, how you think, how you handle adversity or unable to handle it, that's this difference maker between you actually being a man who holds his own nuts or you walking around with an engorged clit and deserve to be treated accordingly. When you nurture their narrative, this is where you cling to the sign language. Shame. Insults. The need to be right and guilt. No, guilt and the need to be right. Excuse me. And you'll see this in and out this space. Because he can't handle adversity. His conflict resolution skills are terrible. How he carries himself, not just in the public, but his appearance. That says a lot about his narrative. Is it for the best or worse? Some of us brothers need a lot of guidance. Because a lot of us have been neutered by other people's narratives. It's time for us to wake the fuck up. I said it before, and there's many others who echo my same sentiments. We are our brother's keepers. And I wore this shirt proudly, and I'll do it again. Peace over pussy. And as much as I love it, how some taste, how some feel. Some of y'all feel like wet sandpaper, but that's here or there. But there's a sense of euphoria that peace offers that pussy doesn't. Now, if you happen to run on your own narrative and you run into a woman who has some firebox and can offer this freely, marry that bitch. Don't play. But if you have a chick who demands you choose punani in the sake of your peace, drop that bitch and run. Don't walk. Don't sprint. Don't jog. Fucking run. Because as I always say in closing, It always takes a pussy to expose and control one. It ain't just the women. It's some of the pussies that hang around you that send you on these dummy missions. It's some of these pussies that show you that when you're knee deep in the shit, they're looking down the street. Damn, that's fucked up. Don't nurture their narratives. Neuter them. Develop your own. Holding your own nets doesn't require you just to do it physically. It means standing on your square, even if it appears that you are alone. People shouldn't fuck with you if you don't fuck with you. I'll let you marinate on that. But that's the thing about the good thing and bad thing about nurturing narratives. If you got OGs who give a fuck about you, they want the best for you. They'll put you in the right path. They'll tell you the truth, especially if it hurts. But when you nurture someone else's narrative, it makes you spiritually sterile. And you get treated like a Will Smith. Or a myriad of other guys who are beating that glass prisoner perspective. Going crazy in that spiritual solitary confinement. Saying he's a man, but really he isn't. Because he allowed a piece of pussy to expose and control him. You guys tell me what you think. You'll see me much sooner than later. And I will address many unaddressed videos and whatnot. I'll get my groove back, but I had to get me back. So, much love to you guys. Love the support. Ladies, you awesome. And I'll say this before I go. Fuck all you shitbirds. You too, Dr. Dip Bill. Peace.